UW's Peer Counselling Association presents Stop the Stigma of Mental Illness. What is mental illness? According to the World Health Organization, mental illnesses comprise a broad range of problems with different symptoms and are generally characterized by a combination of abnormal thoughts, emotions, behavior, and relationships with others. Examples are schizophrenia, depression, intellectual disabilities, and disorders due to drug abuse. Most of these disorders can be successfully treated. What is the stigma surrounding mental illness? If you tune into any conversation about mental illness and addiction, it won't be very long until the term stigma comes up. Stigma refers to negative attitudes, beliefs, descriptions, language, or behavior, and can translate into disrespectful, unfair, or discriminatory patterns in how we think, feel, talk, and behave towards individuals experiencing mental illness. Stigma is also one of the most challenging aspects of living with a mental health condition. It causes people to feel ashamed for something that is out of their control and prevents many from seeking the help they need and from speaking out. In order to combat the stigma against mental illness, we, the Peer Counselling Association, would like to give you 6 simple tips in order to do so. Number 1. Don't label people who have a mental illness. Don't say he's bipolar or she's schizophrenic. People are people, not diagnoses. Instead, say he has a bipolar disorder or she has schizophrenia, and say has a mental illness instead of is mentally ill. All of this is known as person-first language, and it is far more respectful, for it recognizes that the illness does not define the person. Number 2. Don't be afraid of people with mental illness. Sure, they may sometimes display unusual behaviors when their illness is more severe, but people with mental illness aren't more likely to be violent than the general population. In fact, they are more likely to be victims of violence. Don't fall prey to other inaccurate stereotypes such as the deranged killer or the weird co-worker depicted in the movies. Number 3. Be conscious of your language. Don't use disrespectful terms for people with mental illness. Previous research has shown that there are over 250 terms used to describe mental illness, and the majority were negative. These terms are far too common in our everyday conversations. Be careful about using diagnostic terms to describe behavior, like, that's my OCD, or she's so borderline. Given that 1 in 4 adults experience a mental illness, you quite likely may be offending someone and not be aware of it. Number 4. Don't be insensitive or blame people with mental illness. It would be silly to tell someone to just get over cancer, and the same applies to mental illness. Also, don't assume that someone is okay just because they look or act okay, or sometimes smile or laugh. Depression, anxiety, and other mental illnesses can often be hidden, but the person can still be in considerable internal distress. Provide support and reassurance when you know someone is having difficulty managing their illness. Number 5. Talk openly about mental health. Mental illness touches so many lives, and yet it is still a giant secret. Be brave and share your story. Number 6. Be a role model. And Educate yourself and those around you about mental health. Stigma is often fueled by lack of awareness and inaccurate information. There is evidence that individuals who possess more information about mental illness are less stigmatizing than individuals who are misinformed about it. Model these stigma reducing strategies through your own comments and behavior, and politely teach them to your friends, family, co-workers, and others in your sphere of influence. Spread the word that treatment works and recovery is possible. Changing attitudes takes time, but repetition is the key. So keep getting the word out to bring about a positive shift in how we treat those suffering from a mental illness. Join with us to shatter the stigma and mend the mind.